Who's eating it? Welcome back to the homestead, my dear friends. Today I thought I would share a bit of our heart and a bit of our journey of how it took 20 years for us to find our forever homestead. "20 years ago, we were children pretending to be adults. Just two teenagers holding a baby and a dream that felt too big for the small apartment they were currently standing in. We didn't come from acreage, family money, or any type of family land waiting quietly for us somewhere. There was no inheritance, no savings, and no safety net. Just a whispered hope that someday, somehow, we might own a small piece of land to call our own. A place where the wind moved a bit slower, where the children could run barefoot, where the food came from the soil instead of the shelves. But hope is easy when you're young. The years that followed were not. We rented, and rented again, and again. Small kitchens and tight budgets, late nights counting dollars, paycheck to paycheck, sometimes not even then, became normal. Dreaming felt indulgent. Still we planted. Wherever we were, we planted something. Little garden beds next to rental fences, lettuce tucked away beside air conditioning units, the smallest pumpkins you've ever seen growing bravely in a corner. Not because it was aesthetic, because we needed it. Groceries were heavy and bills were heavier. I learned to can with my mom. We learned to stretch meals. We learned to mend and patch and build and figure it out. When you don't have money, you learn how to use your hands. And underneath it all, we prayed. Not flashy prayers, just quiet ones. The kind you whisper when you're washing dishes. The kind you breathe out when the kids are finally asleep. For many, many years, that was our life. A few years ago, something shifted. A family member had a rental house that she was ready to let go of. We humbly asked her if she would sell it to us on a land contract without any down payment. Terrible credit. There was no way we could have a mortgage. To our surprise, she said yes, and I am forever grateful for her. That changed the trajectory of our lives. It was one wooded acre, surrounded by neighbors, but still in the country. More trees and sunlight, but it was ours. I remember standing in the yard thinking, this is the first time the soil belongs to us. We added a couple chickens. Well, we tried to grow more food, though the sunlight was very sparse. And for many years, we carved out tiny patches of light where we decided that we would put our small little gardens. One year we decided to expand. We took down some trees. We tilled the land, we put up fences, and as we were beginning our planting, I was in a car accident. The kind that kind of rearranges you. Before the accident, I was running a graphic design business, hustling, building, producing, but something never felt aligned. It just paid the bills. Well, kind of. But after the accident, everything just seemed to slow down. My body hurt, my mind hurt. Anxiety moved in like an uninvited guest. But something shifted more in my life. It felt like everything just seemed more precious. I felt like I have just been wasting my time, standing still, not daring to dream like we once did when we were young, before life beat us down. During this time, the garden that we were so excited for struggled too. Not enough light, disease creeping in, and pests undoing every little thing that we planted. I would stand there some evenings feeling that the soil mirrored my life. But the flowers bloomed. Cosmos, zinnias, and sunflowers. Planted almost casually because my daughter wanted them, and I didn't know yet, but I needed them. Against every limitation, they flourished, tall, bright, and defiant. I watched them sway in filtered sunlight, and something inside me shifted. If they could bloom in poor soil and partial light, maybe I wasn't broken either. Maybe this was all just a season. That was the year I began learning in earnest. I immersed myself in learning, found homesteading YouTube channels, found Jess from Roots and Refuge, who once said, "Turn your waiting room in the classroom," and that felt like permission. I kept learning. I learned why we waited. I planted more flowers. I immersed myself in all things gardening, raising livestock. We built a flower stand, and we invited our community to take home armfuls of colors grown from the smallest patches of light. We stewarded that acre like it was already 6. When the housing market began to shift and our job was stable, we dared to believe again. Maybe we could sell. Maybe we could afford something modest. Maybe there was a small stretch of land out there with our name on it. For a year and a half, we searched. We put in offers. We were outbid. We drove home quiet. Hope is heavy when it keeps getting set back down. Finally, I just told our friend who was our realtor, "I think we're done. If it's meant to be, it will be, and I'm just tired of breaking my own heart." What we didn't know is that she had been quietly watching a piece of land, 6 acres, rolling hills, and just a modest, manufactured home overlooking the neighbor's cow pasture. For over a year, just vacant and waiting. She called the owner one more time, and guess what? He was ready to sell. We drove by that night. I can't explain it. But as we turned onto the road, I felt like I was coming home to somewhere I have already been. Like the land recognized us. In April, we moved in. And after 20 years, we were home. Fallow is an old farming term. It means land that is rested, land that looks empty, land that appears to be unproductive. For 20 years, it didn't look like much was happening in our lives. But underneath the surface, roots were forming. Skills were growing, faith was deepening, character was being shaped in little rental kitchens and little garden beds. Nothing was wasted. Now when I step out our front door, I look over these hills. I feel in awe. Not because it's grand, not because it wasn't hard, but because we prayed over it. We never gave up. It took 20 years of small, unseen obedience that some days I thought never would come true. This isn't a story about luck. It's a story about waiting. About stewarding what you have before you're given more. About believing even when nothing looks like it's happening. Something is always happening. If you are in your own fallow season, if your dreams feel impossibly far away, please hear me. The roots may be growing deeper than you know. Sometimes the bloom comes after years being underground. We lovingly call this place Fallow and Blossom because we love both. If you're still in your waiting, your blossom may be closer than you think. Each week we invite you back to our homestead. We invite you into slow mornings in the cottage, flower-dusted counters and simmering pots, rows of seedlings reaching for spring light and canning jars lined up to quiet proof of provisions is possible. We share flower fields and hard days, failed crops and full baskets, laundry on the line, maple syrup dripping in late winter, the small ordinary work of tending land and tending life. Not because it's perfect, but because it's real. If you're longing for a slower rhythm, if you're dreaming of land, if you're living just to steward what you have, I welcome you here with love from the homestead. Amanda.